Hello and welcome to my Premier League review for this Saturday's game. Thanks so much for tuning in and I hope you enjoy. But if you do enjoy, make sure you smash the subscribe button and like the video if you enjoy it. But without further ado, let's get straight on to this Saturday's fixtures. Now first up is at Manchester City, where they ran out 3-1 winners to go back top of the league against Everton. 2 goals from Gabriel Jesus set the ball rolling. The first in the 22-minute mark, and then just after half time, a great header made it 2-0. Calvert-Lewin with a header made it 2-1. But 4 minutes later, another header, Sterling, made it 3-1. In the end, it was a comfortable win for City. There wasn't too much between the sides, if I'm being honest, from what I saw. City, they were the better side and probably deserved to win, but Everton had their chances, but they just blazed them over. Richarlison had a couple of chances, he blazed over the bar, but overall City were in control for most of the games, and they did all of that without Aguero on the pitch. De Bruyne came on, which is a really big positive, and also Sterling came on as well. As said, he scored the goal. So it looks like they're back to winning ways straight away. Now they're top of the league by 2 points, with Liverpool playing tomorrow against Manchester United. Everton are now in 8th place on this level on points with both Watford and West Ham, and they may have a battle on their hands for 7th place this year, with Wolves also in 7th place. And then we had 5 games kick off at 3 o'clock, the first of which was Crystal Palace versus Leicester. Milivojevic opened the scoring after 39 minutes, and that was the only goal of the game. A massive win for Crystal Palace. Jamie Vardy had a goal ruled out, probably wrongly, if we're being honest, in the first half before that goal was scored. And they did huff and puff, particularly in the second half. 8 shots, Leicester had 64% possession, but they could not break Crystal Palace down, and they held on for an amazing 3 points that lifts them up into 15th place. 15 points they have, which is 5 points above Huddersfield, who are in the relegation zone. So they will be pleased with that win after 2 defeats in a row to West Ham and to Brighton. They'll be delighted to get back to winning ways ahead of their next game. A very difficult game against Manchester City, a game which I will be going to, which I can't wait for. The next game is Huddersfield versus Newcastle. And a lovely, well-worked goal by Newcastle was the difference. 55 minutes they went ahead through Solomon Rondon, a move that included the defenders, the goalkeeper, the midfielders and the attackers. A lovely goal by Newcastle. That's the only goal of the game. It was a poor game, there wasn't a lot between it, but the surprising factor is how much possession Huddersfield had. 74%, that's like Manchester City terms, but they ended up losing the game. Huddersfield are in 18th, as said, 4 defeats in a row for them now since that 2-0 win at Wolves. They have lost to Brighton, to Bournemouth, to Arsenal, and now to Newcastle. The next game, Southampton at home. Absolutely huge between two sides currently in the relegation zone. Newcastle are in 14th, and there is starting to be a gap between 14th and 13th. 5 points between those two sides. Their next game is Fulham, as they try to get away from that relegation zone, and another 3 points would be very wanted by Rafa Benitez, and that is a very winnable game. But a brilliant win by Newcastle, and they're just starting to move away from that pack. Next, we had a game where Burnley were very unlucky. They gave everything in this one, Burnley. They had to really dig in, and they probably thought they had a point. And then Christian Eriksen right at the end made it 1-0. Absolutely gutting for Burnley, who battled so hard for that point, but they remain just outside of the relegation zone after that win against Brighton. They're in 17th. 2 points ahead of Huddersfield in 18th. It's going to be a hard battle for them this year. Next game is Arsenal away. It doesn't get any easier for Sean Dyche's men. Tottenham, they are up in 3rd. They're 5 points ahead of Chelsea and Arsenal, who both play tomorrow, and they will be absolutely delighted with their week. 2 wins against Leicester and against Burnley. Sandwiched in between that game at the Camp Nou, where they got a valuable point to go through in the Champions League. They'll be absolutely delighted with that 1-0. They needed a win, and that's exactly what they got. Next, we go to a brilliant game at Vicarage Road between Watford and Cardiff, and I suggest you definitely watch this game. Some amazing goals scored. Dinlafro opened the score after 15 minutes with a great strike, and then in the second half, 2 goals inside the first 20 minutes of the second half from Holebas and then from Queener. Both great finishes, made it 3-0, and it was game over. Junior Hoylett scored an absolute cracker 10 minutes from time, and then Bobby Reid bundled it over the line to make it 3-2, and it looked like their comeback was on, but that's all they managed, and a very good 3 points for Watford. A win and a draw in their last 2 games after losing 3 in a row to Manchester City, to Leicester and to Liverpool. They'll be absolutely delighted as they continue their mission really to try and get into that 7th spot, that Europa League spot, which would be absolutely brilliant. Cardiff, they're still above the relegation zone, and that's just their aim. I don't think they'll be too disappointed. They'll be happy that they came back. Next game, Manchester United at home on Saturday. They'll be looking to get something in that one. It'll be very difficult though, very difficult indeed. Next game we have Wolves and Bournemouth. So this one ended up being 2-0. Jimenez opening the scoring after some Daniels gave the ball away. Very poor, and that was after 12 minutes. And then the game became quite cagey, and then right at the end, Caballero, when Bournemouth were going for it, he stole a counter and made it 2-0. Overall, it was probably not worth a 2-0 win. I think Bournemouth deserved to get something from this game, but Wolves, they took their chances and they won the game comfortable. When that second goal went in, there was a whole host of relief around Molineux. They're just 1 point away from Manchester United after 17 games. They'll be absolutely thrilled. They are currently in 7th place, and could you imagine if they got Europe in their first season back in the Premier League? Bournemouth, they'll be disappointed. Just 1 win in their last 5 games. They've had some very difficult games recently against the likes of Arsenal, City, Liverpool, United. So they've had some decent, difficult games, and that's why they've slipped down the table all the way down to 11th. Just 2 points off Brighton now after that amazing start. Finally, the game I just covered was Fulham versus West Ham. And you know what? You look at the game and you think, oh, Fulham, terrible again. But they actually were the better side. They were much better than West Ham in this game. But they didn't take their chances. Kamara had a great chance when it was 0-0. He didn't take it. Saved by Fabianski. And then a great finish from Snodgrass into the corner. And Antonio taking his chance. Some lovely build-up play by Felipe Anderson in that one, made it 2-0 after half an hour. And that's how it remained. Second half was pretty boring. There was only 1 shot on target in the whole second half. Fulham looked down, they looked buried, and they looked absolutely awful, and he needs to turn things around as quick as possible. So that's how it finished. In the relegation zone is still Fulham, Southampton and Huddersfield. The top 4 is as follows: Manchester City, Liverpool, Tottenham, Chelsea, and then just outside we have Arsenal and Manchester United. In 7th place we have Wolves, 8th Everton, 9th West Ham, 10th Watford, 11th Bournemouth, 12th Leicester, 13th Brighton, and then we have Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Cardiff and Burnley just outside the relegation zone. We have 3 games tomorrow, one of which I'll be doing a live stream for, so feel free to get involved in that tomorrow. Going live around 1 o'clock. We have Brighton versus Chelsea, that's on at 1:30. The game I'll be covering, Southampton versus Arsenal, that's also at 1:30. And then the big game is between Liverpool versus Manchester United at 4 o'clock. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, please feel free to smash the like button if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you're new. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. My name is Mike, and I will see you soon.